Just this week, we've given out shoes, we've given out coats. We have parents coming in to charge up their phones because they haven't got the electricity to charge up the phone. That's poverty. That's poverty.
Jill Burns is a support worker at West End Primary School in Morecambe. While the teachers teach, it's Jill's job to ensure the children are ready to learn. And first, that means making sure they are fed.
Toasty. Just one size? Yeah, and do you want a drink? No, just a toast.
Breakfast club here begins at 8 o'clock. This morning, 41 children are being served up 10p toast and 10p cereal.
You keep that one, darling.
But not all of them can afford to pay.
They'll maybe hide in the playground, and as soon as I walk in through the playground, I shout, "Good morning, have you had your breakfast?" "No, I haven't got any money." "It's okay, come on." We can tell if a child looks different from one day to the next, so we're vigilant.
1 in 4 children in Morecambe is growing up in poverty. We've come here because it is by no means the worst part of the North West. In areas of Manchester and Liverpool, it's almost 1 in 2. But even in the more affluent corners of this region, there are pockets of serious deprivation, and the primary schools are the front line.
Children can't come to school and learn if they've not slept the night before because there's been problems at home, if they come to school without having had a breakfast, if they don't come to school at all.
It seems to me, having attended the Breakfast Club, that clearly you're a school that provides so much more than just education for kids.
This morning we've got a counsellor who specialises in children and adult mental health. Tomorrow morning we have a Citizens Advice Bureau drop-in. Yesterday morning we had a drop-in from the police. And I think that will be true of a lot of schools, especially in deprived and difficult areas.
And that is what we find a mile across town at Morecambe Bay Primary. Here, they're fighting the same battle.
So this is the laundry room if the family haven't got a washing machine working at home, or if they've not got enough money to pay for the meter.
How regularly are you washing kids' clothes?
Pretty much daily.
We've had parents that have passed out in the school hall just through doing without meals themselves. We've helped them to join in with the breakfasts that there are available within school.
The parents?
We've taken them as well to food banks.
Are they exceptional circumstances?
We probably have 2 or 3 families at any point in time that we're supporting to that extent. The worst is Christmas. I remember sitting with one little boy who told me that I won't have a Christmas dinner. You know, Mum is working shifts, and so she will be in bed all day. My grandma has a drink problem. Dad's left, so I'll spend all day trying to stop Grandma falling down the stairs, and we won't get any presents. After that conversation, I decided I would never feel that way again, and we have present packages for children and food so that they can have a Christmas dinner.
Both schools told us they've seen a noticeable rise in the number of children of working parents needing more help. Parents like Jane and Paul, both working minimum wage jobs, raising 2 young children, but struggling to balance the books.
So you're both full-time workers. So how many hours a week are you working then?
I do about 34 and you do about 43.
Absolutely, yeah. So 500 for you and 600 for me. That's about 1,200.
So £1,200 and then so rent is 400.
Yeah.
484 every 4 weeks.
So monthly bills, usually the grand total's around 900.
997.
So that leaves 200 for everything else.
Why would you not want us to reveal your identity?
I think there's a huge amount of stigma, and I don't even like to use the word being poor. There's a lot of people behind closed doors that can't afford to live, and a lot of those people are working families. And that's across the board in the kind of wages that we earn.
At Morecambe's Trussell Trust Food Bank, they are familiar stories.
Yeah, we've had parents in here that are crying and have said that they've delayed coming in for 2 weeks because they were really scared that social services or somebody else would be here judging them to say that actually that parent's not capable of looking after that child.
I think it's like when you describe as the tip of an iceberg.
So when you look at this piece of paper here, this data you've given us, if you fed 152 children in September, you think that's the tip of the iceberg?
We really think that the amount of people that we're helping is not the true amount of people that need our support.
In this doctor's surgery, we find a food bank collection basket. The GP here is seriously concerned about the implications of children not eating properly.
Rickets is where it's a condition that you normally see in developing countries where the bones are not forming properly, and it's usually associated with poverty because children are malnourished and not getting the things that they need.
And so you've seen examples in Morecambe of children coming in with rickets.
We are seeing things like rickets. We've seen rickets. We're seeing other conditions commonly now that are linked to malnourishment.
I mean, forgive me, rickets feels like a condition which we've heard about, but we don't really see that often in kids these days.
Yeah. It was probably quite common back in the Victorian times. We wouldn't expect to see this in a developed nation.
What's the long-term impact there?
The first 1,000 days of a child's life are absolutely vital in terms of brain development, social development. If you miss those windows, some of those things will never be recovered. And that is devastating long-term in terms of the consequences on their mental health, on their ability to work in the future, on their physical health, on educational outcomes, across the board.
Over the next 4 years, child poverty is predicted to rise from 4 million to 5 million. It's an alarming statistic, but schools don't see statistics, they see children.
We asked these children in a class last week what they want. They don't come back with, I want a mobile phone or I want an iPad. They came back with, I want heat and I want a roof over my head and I want food and I want somebody to love me.
Do you think people are kind of aware out there of how much?
No, I don't. And I always say, take one step outside of your box and then look, because it is there to be seen. And I don't know how people can't see what's there underneath our noses. Yeah, the poverty is rife and it's not okay.
Is it really that obvious for you?
For me, yes. Yes, I deal with it every day. Yeah, it's heartbreaking.